Hello everyone, welcome to Camping Time channel. In this video, we will go along the coast of Vietnam together,
driving together among the white sands,
or through the deep forest, far away from the villages,
camping in the middle of nature,
and experience cruising on Ha Long Bay,
let's see this bay together. How many islands are there?
and find out which beach is the longest in Vietnam.
Which beach is the most beautiful in our country?
Scenic spots from south to north.
Which temple has the largest gold-plated statue in Asia?
European village right in Vietnam.
And many interesting images.
The trip was expected to be more than 20 days. There would be camping, so we had to bring tents and sundry things. We love to explore unspoiled beaches, so this trip would not follow any tour or predetermined plan.
And from day one, the plan has changed. When we departed half a day later than planned because of summer hours at work,
Interruption of direct work, and just working remotely for more than 20 days, it wouldn't be easy at all.
and the weather factor was also a variable that my family had to adapt to during this 3,000 kilometers trip.
As soon as we entered the highway, it started to rain. We didn't know how many more rainy days ahead. Adverse weather is always difficult challenge for long trips. But the beautiful memories of the sea had made me more optimistic. During 3 hours driving in the rain, imagining the scene we used to swim with small sea fishes in, the previous trips had given me more motivation.
Being tired on the way would be compensated by the beautiful sunrise and sunset on the unspoiled beaches. My family arrived in Mui Ni quite late at night, but the reward for us was the very fresh and delicious seafood here.
But the biggest reward was the sunrise view on Mui Ni Beach. The waves were whispering, the wind was light, the sky was clear.
After breakfast, we had to leave this beautiful Havana resort to continue our journey. Ahead were the beaches from south to north, from Muni to Tricot. They were beckoning us.
From Mui Ni, we spent about 4 hours to drive to Nha Trang, passing over many beautiful beaches like Ninh Cha Beach, Gan Son, Gan Rai, Co Thach, and even Cam Ran. This was my first mistake in this trip through Vietnam, and I will share the reason with you in the next part of the video.
We happened to see a poinciana tree, looming brilliantly between the mountains and the sea.
It was the first surprise on the trip, and made everyone more excited. However, up to this point, I were still not fully focused with the trip because my mind was dominated by work.
The road to Nha Trang city is very beautiful. To the left is the hill and to the other side are the rows of trees and flowers. And beyond is the white sand. This is Nha Trang Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches in Vietnam with white sand and clear water.
But lately, the beach occasionally has garbage left by some tourists. This is a bad thing happened at this beach. My family loves Nha Trang and often comes here. We have seen trash on the beach several times. Hopefully, city committee will soon have a solution for this problem.
Anyway, Nha Trang is still very beautiful, waiting for us to experience any interesting things. Coming to Nha Trang, you can experience mineral mud bathing, take a boat to the islands of Binh Ba, Binh Hung, Han Yen, Han Mun.
And moreover, Nha Trang has a lot of culinary flavors for you to enjoy. The first is the fresh seafood dishes, already has a brand name of Nha Trang. There are also many grilled spring rolls in Nha Trang. Today, my family chose Bhutan and restaurant on the low street, and the taste was pretty good.
And this was the afternoon and sunset scene on Nha Trang Beach, with the view from the MONG and Condotel area. Nha Trang is always so enchanting.
The next morning, we continued to move to Phu Yen. This province has many beautiful unspoiled beaches, along with landscapes such as Dien Cape, Discus Reefs, Anh Hin Phong Tower, Biak Cp Beach, Van Hoa Plateau.
From Nha Trang to Tahoa, you can follow Highway 1A, or the road along the coast and Khor Pass. We chose the Khor Pass, although it is not as easy as National Highway 1A, but we would pass through Dien Cape, one of the two easternmost points of Vietnam.
And this is Dien Cape, also known as Dai Lan Cape. We can see Dai Lan Lighthouse on the top of this mountain. It is a part of the Trong Son Mountains.
To our right is by Mon Beach, a very small but unspoiled beach, and has not been exploited for tourism.
Leaving Cape Dien, we passed through Don Hoa Town and to Hoa Airport to get to the city center.
Tahoe is one of the two cities in Vietnam that you can jump into the crystal clear seawater 5 minutes after getting off the plane.
In addition to Hoa Airport, Cam Ranh Airport, it is also only 5 minutes from the Dai Beach.
Tahoe also has many delicious dishes such as shallot soup, one sunny beef, yellow and salt, chicken hot pot with leaves.
My family just had a normal dinner, but I enjoy my meal in Phu Yen. There are always lots of greens.
And this is Tahoe Casa homestay with pretty cheap room rate, but it is very chill and clean.
It took us about 5 to 7 minutes to walk from here to City Central Beach.
And here was the view when our family were going to the beach together in the next morning.
This is April 1st Square. At the end of the square is Tahoe Central Beach.
Tourism has not been exploited too much, therefore, Tahara Beach is very clean, and the seawater is very clean.
After the whole morning of playing with the waves, my kids wanted to walk around Tahara City.
Tahara City has low population density. So, when you come here, you never see traffic jams. Many roads are wide and sparsely trafficked.
This is Ng Hin Phong Tower, a new symbolic work of Tahara City. The design of the tower is inspired by the Disc Rapids, iconic local nature's beauty, and the legend 100 Eggs and 100 Children of Lak Long Quan and Oko. So the tower consists of two parts.
We had the opportunity to see Ng Hin Phong Tower from above. In the next morning, we were on the way to Van Hoa Plateau. Van Hoa Plateau is located on Trong Son Mountains, with an average altitude of about 400 meters above sea level.
Coming to this plateau, you will have a relaxing journey. Among the vast green meadows, enjoy the freshness and peace between the majestic mountains and forests. This is the top of Chop Chai Mountain. Chop Chai Mountain and Ba River are two of the natural symbols of Phu Yen. It is 394 meters above sea level, emerged in the middle of Tahoe Plain, and has very unique characteristics, difficult to confuse with other mountains. Leaving Van Hoa Plateau, we returned to Tahoe Casa to rest and prepare for the next journey. We would visit the XCP beach in Phu Yen on the way to QUANG. Surely you still remember that in the previous part of this video, I skipped some beaches in Binh Thuan and Ninh Thuan provinces because it's quite familiar to us.
However, we met a local in Nha Trang. He's also quite old. He gave us advices and encouraged us to take video of all the beaches along our trip, not just take video new places or beautiful beaches.
Because somewhere, there will be people like him who care and want to see those normal scenes and daily local life around the country. And I changed my mind after listening to his advices, and we started to take video all the beaches and daily local life later on.
And here is XCP Beach. It is not well known on the tourist map of Vietnam, but really, my family would miss a beautiful memory if we just passed over it again, right?
From Tahoe Casa to Yo Jo, QUANG. It took us nearly 3 hours by car. The road was empty and driving was very comfortable. We moved to a fishing village near Yo Jo and spent the night here.
And this was the sunrise over Quy Nhơn fishing village. Each fleet started a new working day. This is Iojo. Here you will see the magnificent beauty of nature with the waves from the shore towards the sea.
I found a small fish living in a rock hole and wondered if I should rescue her out of there, or is that rock hole her house?
Leaving Iogeo, my family returned to visit Quy Nhơn City.
And of course, when you are in Quy Nhơn City, it is impossible not to go to Quy Nhơn Beach. The beach is very beautiful with white sand, peaceful scenery. After the break in Quy Nhơn, we continued to go to NGAI. This route was quite long, nearly 200 kilometers. It took us more than 5 hours because we were wandering around looking for a campsite.
There were places on the map that seemed to be suitable for camping, but when I got there, it wasn't like that. For example, this place looks also nice on the map, but it is suitable to stay only during the day. And finally, we found the Nha Trang Garden campsite. This place was pretty crowded, but most of guests would leave after dinner. The access to this beach is easy. The sand is hard, All kinds of vehicle can enter. The owner of this land is very funny and friendly. You will not have to pay any costs when camping here.
We decided not to cook dinner with prepared food and ordered food at Trin's restaurant to support him. We surprised that the seafood was so fresh and delicious, and the price was very affordable.
This was probably the reason why, in the afternoon and evening, the restaurant was crowded. What's better than a bottle of dark beer at this time?
This was the dawn on QUANG NGAI the next day, a feeling that was difficult to describe in words. Let's watch this scene together. After packing up the tent, my family went to Hoi An quite early. We booked a homestay called Papaya Garden. And true to the billboard, the place is very clean and friendly so visitors feel at home.
We decided to stay in the room almost all the afternoon because it was quite hot today. I took advantage of flying a drone to record the scenery of Hoi An from above.
This is the DUONG River. It has many tributaries and divides the residential areas of the city. In the evening, we took a walk in the ancient town and enjoyed the dish named khao lao. Hoi An also has many other delicacies such as duck cake, pancakes, mussels and rice paper.
The old town did not have the best restaurant for khao lao. In return, the ice cream here was very delicious with funny shapes. There were so many colorful lanterns in the old town. Unfortunately, the bridge pagoda was in the maintenance phase, so I couldn't shoot video.
And we watched a folk game. The player was blindfolded and followed verbal instructions from the others to hit the crock pot hanging in the air.
On the next morning, the whole family woke up early for the sunrise on QUANG Beach. It's great to see QUANG Beach being revived. We all know that a few years ago, QUANG Beach was seriously eroded. And now let's see this beach from different views, distances. After a whole morning at the beach, we returned to Hoi An and had a lunch at restaurant Ni Old Lady. This restaurant has the highest rate on Google Maps. And we could not be disappointed. This khao lao dish had really special taste.
And next was the panoramic tour of the old town by electric car. Lots of beautiful scenery. Lots of impressive flavors with Hoi An. And before leaving Hoi An, we had to try phuong bread too.
It took us only 1 hour to drive from Hoi An to Danang, because these two cities are very close to each other. We decided to cross Danang city and went directly to Suntra Peninsula. We would go back from my K beach in Danang on the next day. We chose Suntra because this beach is more family friendly than my K beach.
In addition, there was another reason that we already experienced my K beach in a previous trip. But if you guys support us by watching and sharing our videos, we will come back to the beautiful My Cave Beach and give a detailed review.
Room rates at this 4-star resort are also not expensive. It's about $100 per night for the whole villa. This is Suntra Beach with clear water, very light waves. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Suntra Beach is one of the few beaches facing the south, not the east as usual. It is surrounded by hills on the other 3 sides, therefore, the waves here are very smooth, the wind is light. In the afternoon, we took jet ski to go to Suntra Peninsula, swimming and diving to watch the fishes. The sea here is quite shallow. There are less fishes than in Phu Quoc Island. But they're not afraid of people, so we can get a closer look.
After an entire afternoon of swimming and diving, we returned to take a rest. This was the sunset on Suntra Beach. Suntra restaurant served us many delicious seafood dishes. In the center of the table was the chef's own creation, a Suntra fried rice.
Morning on Suntra Beach is very peaceful. From here, you won't be able to see the sunrise when it just comes out. But in return, you will feel relaxed and peaceful. This wasn't the best coffee, but it was the chillest coffee I've ever experienced.
We took a look at Suntra Beach again, before leaving it and going to Danang City and Bana Hills.
Here, we were on Vo Nguyen Giap Street. This road runs along the beaches from Hoi An, through Danang and to Suntra. This is my K Beach, once voted as one of the most attractive beaches on the planet. It's flat with white sand and quite light waves.
However, my K Beach has less trees than some of the beaches that we will explore in the next part of this video. It was sunny and very hot, so only a few tourists swam in the sea. We also just stopped to rest.
And this is the Dragon Bridge, one of the iconic constructions of Danang city. The bridge is 666 meters long, and it was inaugurated 10 years ago. It has the shape of a dragon flying over the Han River. The dragon's head is designed to be able to spit fire and water. We continued to move to Bana Hills. It was about 40 kilometers from Danang city center.
And this is the entrance to Bana Hills. To get to the top of this resort, we needed to buy a ticket, and taking the cable car for about 15 minutes. Watching forest and the mountains from the cable car was an interesting experience. On the top of Bana Hill, you can enjoy the cool fresh air and watching European-style construction and French village scene with lots of flowers.
We just entered the wax museum with statues of famous people. Let's see who these well-known people are.
Leaving the Wax Museum, we went to the Golden Bridge. The Golden Bridge is a check-in point not to be missed when coming to Danang.
A photo of Danang Golden Bridge won a global contest of architectural photography in 2020. What I particularly like is, the Golden Bridge was designed by Vietnamese architects, unlike the Dragon Bridge designed by a foreign company.
Ending the tour to Banna Hills, we started to move towards Hue City, a city with many beautiful relics.
This was the view of Hue City from the 26th floor of Melia of Imperial Hotel. From this perspective, we could see the new and modern city from this side, and the old citadel on the other side. Imperial Citadel has an area of 500 hectares. Hue Citadel, formerly known as Fujuan, it was the capital of the Nguyen dynasty for 143 years. There is an interesting fact that the name of our country came out from here. After King Jalong defeated the Tay Son dynasty, unifying the whole country, he ascended the throne and took the national title Vietnam. The entire complex of Hue monuments is recognized by UNESCO, is a World Cultural Heritage. And now let's explore together the beauty of Hue ancient capital.
Leaving the ancient capital of Hue, my family came to have lunch at PHONG NHA restaurant. This is the place that you should try when coming to Hue. They serve many typical Hue dishes here, and the clay pot rice is also very delicious, flexible and fragrant. In the afternoon, we went to visit QUANG Hue School. It is nearly 130-year-old and has an interesting historic fact. That is, in the Civil War, the North and the South fought each other. But both presidents of Vietnam North and Vietnam South country graduated from this high school. This is a memorial for fallen soldiers opposite QUANG School. It was built in the early 20th century, in memory of the French and Vietnamese soldiers from central Vietnam died in battle for the cause of helping France defeat Germany in the First World War.
After a day of sightseeing, we returned to the hotel to take a break. This was the view of sunset on the old citadel.
In the evening, we went to Lac Thien restaurant to enjoy the delicious Koi cakes, a typical Hue dish. Koi cake is made from rice flour with eggs and turmeric powder. The filling is made from mixed meat or shrimp. This is Trong Tien Bridge, also known as Trang Tien Bridge. The bridge is more than 400 meters long and designed in Gothic style. This was a panoramic view of Trang Tien Bridge from Phong Bac Park. Nightlife activities in Hue are also quite rich and fun. Viagem street food. It is located deep in a small alley on DUONG Street. They serve a variety of Vietnamese sweets.
We continued to explore Hue, with a boating experience on the Perfume River. These also are the things you should try when coming to Hue. After relaxing time on the Perfume River, we returned to the hotel because the next day, there would be many interesting places.
This was another view of Hue City from above. Later, we would go to TINH Pagoda and the Mausoleum of King Minh Mang. This is 400-year-old TINH Pagoda. The front is Phuoc Dinh Tower. It was built under the reign of King Tu Tri. The original tower was named Danang. The tower is 21 meters high and consists of 7 floors. Each floor has a Buddha statue. We had just entered the gate of TINH Pagoda, and over there, the main hall. It was not crowded as usual. Similar to the Forbidden City, TINH Pagoda architecture is associated with nature, with many rows of trees and lawns surrounding the shrines. And now let's admire the Great Bell together. TINH Pagoda Bell is 300 years old and is our national treasure. The bell is 2.5 meters high and weighs 2 tons and finely crafted.
TINH Pagoda still keeps the mark of memorabilia of the late Venerable Thich Quang Duc. He was traveling in this car before setting himself on fire to protest the persecution of Buddhism of the government of the Republic of Vietnam. Let's take a look at the main gate together, before leaving TINH Pagoda. This was the Perfume River from the perspective of TINH Pagoda. The scenery was very beautiful and peaceful. Leaving TINH Pagoda, my family continued to visit the mausoleum of King Min Mang. But it was about to rain heavily, so I didn't have enough time to film it. I only had time to take a few pictures. King Min Mang was the second king of the Nguyen dynasty. He was the king with the most achievements of the Nguyen dynasty. His reign was the last mighty period. Feudalism in Vietnamese history. This was the scene in the mausoleum of King Min Mang, under the sudden rain. Behind those gates is his resting place. So 2 days to visit Hue as planned had ended. We still regret not coming to Lang Co Beach in time. I just drove out of Hue when the rain stopped. There was a thought that crossed my mind about going back to Lang Co Beach. However, the distance from Hue to PHONG NHA Cave was very long. It took me about 5 hours of driving continuously. I will review the Lang Co Beach on the next occasion.
Please support our channel by watching and sharing video. We will have more motivation to come back to Lang Co soon and record the most detailed video of this very beautiful beach. Thank you.
If traveling to Lang Co by plane, then we should choose Danang Airport, because Lang Co Beach belongs to TINH Hue Province, but it is much closer to Danang Airport than Phu Bai Airport.
To get from Hue to PHONG NHA, we can take National Highway 1A or Highway 15. We chose National Highway 1A because we wanted to visit the ancient citadel of QUANG Tri.
And this is the relic of the ancient citadel of QUANG Tri. QUANG Tri Citadel was built about 200 years ago, but was destroyed by war.
Currently, only a few parts have been restored, and the memorial was built later.
This is a memorial to the soldiers. Fell down in the flaming red summer of 1972. We had to leave the ancient citadel of QUANG Tri because it was getting dark quickly. There were still 150 kilometers ahead, but the scenery was beautiful. Looking this scene, I understood why Father Albert de Souza said happiness is a journey, not a destination.
Dawn on PHONG NHA town was also unforgettable memories of our family on this trip.
PHONG NHA town has many budget models but very cool like this.
To visit PHONG NHA cave, we needed to buy ticket and traveling by boat.
If traveling alone or in a group of 2 or 3 people, you can share the boat with other guests, but will have to wait a bit long to join the group, because the organization is not optimal yet.
We also had to queue for a long time to buy tickets.
According to my research while waiting in line, it is best way that, when you book rooms or tables, you may ask the people of hotels or restaurants to buy tickets for you in advance.
And now let's visit the caves together. In PHONG NHA Bang National Park, the scenery in the cave was magnificent, and the fatigue of waiting in line was well worth it.
leaving PHONG NHA National Park. My family wandered along the coast in the direction of TINH and found a small beach. The beach was very nice and unspoiled. There was not a single person except our group. I don't know the name of this beach and I can't find it on Google Maps. If anyone knows the name of this beach, please share with us in the comment section below. We arrived at TINH Beach late at night, but the seafood restaurant and street food vendors were still crowded. The crabs here were fresh, very cheap and delicious.
And this was TINH Beach the next morning. In front of us was TINH Mountain, also known as Cam Sun. This mountain juts out into the sea and separates the TINH Beach from another sandy beach. And this was the view from north to south towards Lac Jeong River and QUANG Lighthouse.
Leaving TINH, we moved towards Highway 1A. We came across a very beautiful church and decided to visit on a whim. This is the Rosary Church, Lop Tu Parish, in Thach Long Commune, Thach Ha District, Ha Tin Province. The church is so beautiful with high domes, bright colors. The altars are intricately carved, and the statues look very realistic and alive.
Leaving Lop Tu Parish, we went to visit the ancient pagoda on a sacred mountain. It is Huong Thich Pagoda. Huong Thich Pagoda was built in the Tran dynasty 700 years ago. To get to Huong Thich Pagoda, we needed to take an electric vehicle, then the cable car to the temple gate. Huong Thich Pagoda is associated with the legend of Princess Du. TINH took refuge and attained enlightenment here. Huong Tich Pagoda is not only famous for its beautiful scenery, it is also a sacred place to find serenity and peace of mind. Each step of the stone stairs is a step towards Buddha's door. Huong Tich Pagoda is a place that once you come, you will not want to leave. Or you leave but your mind stays here. It took us about 1 hour from Huong Tich Pagoda to the relic of Lotus Village, Engam Province. We were going to visit the hometown of the first president of Vietnam. This is the place where President Ho Chi Minh was born in 1890. The house has been restored to depict the life in Vietnam 100 years ago. The house, the way my ancestors used to live, impressed me a lot. It is really admirable that the young man Ho Chi Minh at that time had a stable job and lived in the city of Marseille, France.
And this was the agricultural context, backward, of our country more than a century ago.
He has also lived in Boston, USA, and worked for a rather large hotel, Army Parker House Hotel.
Differences in living conditions between Vietnam and European and American countries at that time was really huge.
He also lived and worked in London, England,
giving up a more affluent life in Europe and America, and returned to the poor backward country at that time. Ask yourself, how many of us can do that?
After visiting Lotus Village, my family went to enjoy local eel soup specialties. This is the dish you must try when you come here. It is very delicious.
After that, we continued to visit Vinh City and Kua Lo Town. This is Binh Minh Road. It is more than 10 kilometers long, from Kua Ho Lighthouse Station to Kua Lo Port Bridge.
Kua Lo Beach is quite long with yellowish sand. However, Kua Lo Beach is still not the longest beach in Vietnam.
Please watch this video to the end to find out the longest beach in Vietnam. And we will comment which beach is the most beautiful in our country. Wandering in this province, we found a beach, which is very beautiful and unspoiled, and exploded for tourism. I don't know the name of this beach, and I don't know if it's named either. When you come here, you will feel like the whole beach is yours. Vietnam has many beaches like this, waiting for us to discover and experience.
Enjoying the scenery in Engan. So we left for Sam Sun Beach a bit late. When we got there, it was already dark, but Sam Sun City was still very busy with colorful lights.
The next morning, the whole family not only swam together, but also took a lot of photos and having fun.
After swimming, my family enjoyed seafood together. Sam Sun has more restaurants than Kua Lo. Sam Sun is a city and Kua Lo is just a town. There are more tourists in Sam Sun than Kua Lo, due to its geographical location is closer to Hanoi capital.
After Sansan Beach we moved towards PHONG National Park. Coming to Ninh Binh area, it is impossible not to try mountain goat meat specialties.
The goat meat dishes here are processed in a typical way, of Ninh Binh and very delicious.
It took us nearly 3 hours to drive to PHONG National Park. As soon as we got there, it started to rain. The camping plan might soon fail. However, after consulting, the whole family still decided to buy tickets and enter the park. And we were very lucky that the rain stopped when we reached to the campsite. This is Zombong campsite. It is 20 kilometers from the park gate. I tried to go hiking alone, but it got dark too soon. So, I couldn't reach the 1,000-year-old Terminalia Myriocarpa tree. I will go back for it in the next occasion. It was great to have a barbecue in the middle of the forest and enjoy a bottle of Belgium beer.
But the scene in the next morning was truly amazing, a feeling of peace. And my mind was so clear. We also had visitors very early, but they didn't want coffee and just came and left out. And we also left PHONG National Park and headed to Trang An.
The road to Ho Lu, Trang An has a picturesque scene. Ho Lu was not the first capital of Vietnam. Before Ho Lu, there was My Linh, Co Loa, and Long Binh capitals. But Ho Lu was the coronation place of the first emperor of Vietnam. In addition, Ho Lu had an influence in our culture. For example, the Lai dynasty, after moving the capital to Thanh Long, had also rebuilt many architectural works of Ho Lu. In the new place, Bridge of Den, Ba Phien Tower, Van to Pagoda. To visit Ho Lu Relic Area, you need to buy an entrance ticket and boat ticket. There are 3 boat routes numbered 1, 2 and 3. My family chose to take route number 3, but route number 1 was also very beautiful, and I had to leave it for the next time. It is impossible to fully visit Ho Lu in just one day. Let's enjoy the scenery of Ho Lu together. Here, you probably don't need my narration anymore. These scenes speak for themselves. The following extremely monumental attraction was TINH Pagoda, the second largest temple in Southeast Asia. TINH Pagoda Complex currently covers an area of 1,700 hectares, including the 1,000-year-old ancient temple area and the new temple area. Monk Master Lai Kwok-su Nguyen Min Kong was the founder of TINH Pagoda. Legend has it that when he came here to find medicinal plants for King Lai Then Tong, he discovered that this land contains spiritual aura and there are beautiful caves. So he built a temple to worship Buddha and created a garden of precious medicinal plants to cure people's diseases. And here is the statue of Shakyamuni Buddha sitting on a lotus and recite lotus flowers at Phapchu Temple. The statue is made of pure copper and inlaid with gold. The weight of the statue is up to 100 tons and is holding the record as the largest gilded bronze Buddha in Asia. The statue of Buddha Shakyamuni is also considered a symbol of the sacred and contemplative TINH Pagoda. And so we've just found the answer for the question about the largest gilded bronze Buddha in Asia at the beginning of this video, right? Now let's enjoy the beauty of TINH Pagoda and the tallest stupa in Asia. Here we have finished the tour. TINH Pagoda is beautiful. Do you agree with me? Leaving the ancient capital of Honolulu, Ninh Binh, we continued to go towards the East Sea, but before arriving Dusun Beach, Haiphong, my family went to visit our relatives in Tai Binh province. On the way back to the Rice province, it was raining heavily, and there was not a single person except my family. And when the rain stopped, the scenery of the northern countryside was also very beautiful. This was the view from the drone of a typical rural scene. In the Red River Delta, there is always the rice field, then the village road. Each house has a pond and has this style. In the front side there is a row of areca, The next is a 3-room house with tiled roofs or flat roofs. And behind the house there is a banana and vegetable garden. My family continued the trip to Dusun Beach in the afternoon. It rained continuously, so we didn't arrive until the evening. My family stayed at Villa of Queen Nam Phuon, very close to King Baodai's palace. We hope to visit it in the following day, if the rain stopped. The next morning it continued to rain and the sea was rough. So my family decided to just go around to see the beach and do sun streets. Then we departed to Ha Long Bay. This is the buffalo fighting statue, the symbol of Dusun. Wandering in the area of Dragon Hill, we were able to admire a very nice man-made beach in this complex. This beach didn't seem to be in operation yet. So, we have one more reason to get back to Dusun in the future. Finally, we also left Dusun and headed to Ha Long Bay. On the day of visiting Ha Long, my family decided to experience going on a cruise to watch TH Islands. Ha Long Bay covers an area of 1,500 hectares. There are 1,969 large and small islands in this bay, and almost a half of them are not named yet. Out of those islands, only 40 are inhabited.
This was the first time my family experiences a cruise in Ha Long, so our kids were quite excited. This is Rosie Cruise, one of many cruises in Ha Long. We chose Rosie because it had the route to Tibet's Ha Long and also Lan Ha.
Experiencing the view of 1,000 islands in 24 hours was wonderful. I sipped a cup of tea on a cool afternoon. and a pinacolade cocktail before the sunset. This was a spring roll making lesson. Everyone was quite interested and excited. I couldn't participate in the spring roll making part because I was busy filming. In return, when it came to tasting the product, I volunteered enthusiastically. In the evening, when everyone was having dinner, all the lights went off. We had 3 birthday parties in the dining room. Although almost all of us did not know each other before, but we all sang the happy birthday song together. It was very nice thing. After dinner, everyone tried their luck with fishing, but the result was not as expected. Not a single fish has bitten the hook. In the next morning, I was the first to get on deck to shoot the sunrise scene, but unfortunately, it's a bit overcast.
Maybe I just needed someone to hold me.
All the signs were there that this wasn't working, and after a while I just couldn't take the hurt. It left a hole in my chest on the day that she left, but it was for the best. I was praying down on my knees, and I still can't believe you showed up out of the blue. I'm so happy it hurt when they walked out the door.
And I switched to watching Tai Chi lesson.
After Tai Chi practice, we had breakfast and then took a wooden boat ride to visit Lan Ha Bay, dark and light cave, and enjoy the cool fresh air amidst the natural scenery.
Love's got a funny way of showing up when you least expect it. It can light up your darkest days, baby, if you let it.
It can pull you out of your deepest pain. It's the sun on your skin right after the rain. It's that you just know everything's gonna be okay. I was praying down on my knees, and I still can't believe you showed up out of the blue. I'm so happy it hurt when they walked out the door. Happy they left my heart broke on the floor. Happy I don't have to fight anymore. Had to leave it behind me, so real love to find.
After visiting Lan Ha Bay, we returned to the boat and had lunch. Then back to Tuan Sho Port. End of cruise on Ha Long Bay.
were leaving Tuan Sho Island with beautiful scenery and driving towards Mong Kai City, with a distance of 170 kilometers and nearly 3 hours of driving. Driving on the highway was quite boring. So, I decided to exit the highway and drove along the coastal road. Thanks to that, my family was able to admire the beauty of a village in typical Japanese architecture, right in Vietnamese soil. That's the fun when we go by vehicle. There are always little surprises along the way.
Another surprise when we turned into a newly built urban area to stop at a coffee shop with a pretty normal look. But when we stepped inside, we felt like we had just got back in the 80s. The owner of the shop is passionate about collecting antiques from the subsidy period. Here, people still text each other with pieces of paper. Young people also check in by this method.
After a break, our group continued towards Tra Co Fork. Near Tra Co Fork is a park with the symbol of Tra Co tourism. The symbol is sculpted in stone, surrounding a concrete support with artistic architectural details, such as carving stone at the top of the cylinder. The pen-shaped symbol means that this is the first point, where the pen stroke is placed to draw the map of Vietnam.
It is interesting that Tra Co Beach is the longest beach in Vietnam, not Kua Lo, Sam Son, or the Central Beaches, as many people think. Tra Co Beach is 17 kilometers long and named after the fishing village. It was built up 500 years ago by fishermen. Tra Co sea water is quite clear, flat sand with light waves. Sa Vi Cape in Tra Co Sea is only 6 kilometers far from the Chinese border, and it is considered the first beach of the country in the north.
We left Tra Co Beach and ended the journey nearly 3,000 kilometers along the beautiful coast of the country in the past 20 days. There were sunny days, rainy days, but going to the beach is never boring to us. Vietnam has over 100 beaches, and each of them has its own beauty. And if we want these natural beauties last forever, we must preserve and protect.
We had to cross 300 kilometers to reach Hanoi city. But the driving time was longer than expected, so my family had to change plans and stopped in Hai Duong city. The next morning, we had a simple breakfast at the hotel and just spent very short time to watch a nice and peaceful scenery of Hai Duong city. Then, we continued the journey towards Hanoi.
We were going through Nha Trang Bridge to enter the center of Hanoi. The first attraction was Uncle Ho's mausoleum. We arrived early so it wasn't too crowded. Unfortunately, we couldn't go inside because the mausoleum was under maintenance. And this used to be the Governor General of Indochina, long time ago. And now it is the Presidential Palace of Vietnam. To the left of the Presidential Palace is the place where our first president used to live.
The third attraction was the Cathedral of the Archdiocese of Hanoi. It is also known as Hanoi Cathedral. The church is located at 40 Nha Trang Street, Hang Trong Ward, Hon Kien District. It has a history of nearly 140 years, witnessing many ups and downs of the country. It was originally a temporary church, made of wood, from 1884 to 1888. The Catholic Church rebuilt with concrete. The church was designed in the Gothic style, with curved and pointed domes pointing to the sky. The deep colors of the walls and ceiling contrast with the colorful window frames, all blend together to create the beauty of this church, in the heart of Hanoi City.
Leaving Hanoi Cathedral, we continued to visit the walking street and visited the statue of King Lai Tai II, who was instrumental in creating this 1,000-year-old city. In the capital moving announcement, he wrote, "The relocation of the capital is not a personal choice, but a thought for the future." Since then, Dai La Citadel has become Than Long capital and then Hanoi City.
And now let's explore the streets and delicious dishes in Hanoi. Hanoi is famous for its rich culinary culture and many delicious dishes, such as pho, vermicelli with shrimp paste, yen sticky rice, hang bo rib porridge, and it's impossible not to mention grilled chopped fish la voong. Here, the fish was prepared, but the dill, scallions, lemongrass, basil was being fried by the chef in front of diners. It created interesting images and the taste was very rich.
After dinner, we went to Old Quarter Cafe at 11 Hang Gate
to enjoy their special drink, egg coffee.
Walking around Hon Kien Lake in the evening, we have had the opportunity to witness street dances, which were so improvisational and beautiful. They were dancing together, having fun, regardless of age, nationality, or skin color. What a beautiful moment!
Here were the first images of Sunday morning. A very peaceful Hanoi with the view from above. We continued the second day of sightseeing with the scenic spots that have existed for thousands of years in the capital. The first attraction was the Temple of Literature, the first university in our country. Temple of Literature was built in 1070 during the third dynasty of the Lai dynasties. Temple of Literature complex includes many diverse works such as Ho Van, Temple of Literature, Quoc Tu Giam, Giam Garden, Ku Van Kak. This is Ku Van Kak, which means Gate of Ku Star. In the past, it was the meeting place for the excellent writings of the scholars in the competition department. This is the place to keep the stone cells, engraved with the names of famous doctors in the history of Vietnam. Dai Bai Duong is the place of worship in the rituals. It is decorated with many flags, couplets praising Confucianism and Confucius. Modern-day students also come here to ask for luck and paz.
Khai Then Temple is the construction located at the end of the relic site. The temple is the place to worship Confucius's parents, Thucluan and Goan Non Thi. Previously, this place used to be a residence or Tai Hok area with 150 rooms for the students. By 1946, the temple was completely destroyed after a cannon bombardment by the French colonialists. After that, Khai Then Temple was rebuilt and preserved until today. This is the one-pillar pagoda, and it was also destroyed by the French colonialists, and the current construction was restored in 1955. One-pillar pagoda was originally named Lien Ho Dai, which means lotus station, with a unique architecture, an altar placed on a single pillar.
Similar to one-pillar pagoda, Ngok Sun Temple was also rebuilt since the 19th century. The difference is that the previous Ngok Sun Temple was only damaged for natural reasons. This historical site existed before King Lai Tai II moved the capital to Thang Long and used to be called Ngok Tuong Temple.
Ngok Sun Temple worships the hero Hun Dao Dai Vuong Tran Quoc Tuan and the god Van Juan Di Quan in Tam Sin Tamda. Ngok Sun Temple also worships Buddha, Kong Don, and Holy Mother. Ngok Sun Temple is located in the heart of Ho Guom. The name Ho Guom means Sword Lake, with a legend about the sword of the king. To enter the temple, we need to buy an entrance ticket and cross the Huc Bridge. Ngok Sun Temple is also the place to keep 2 specimens of a very big turtle with soft shell. This is an extremely rare turtle race, which is on the verge of extinction. The lifespan of the Ho Guom turtle is up to hundreds of years, so people respectfully call it Great Old Turtle. The supposed last individual of Ho Guom turtle died in 2006, but personally, I still hope that, somewhere out there, deep in the heart of Sword Lake, the Ho Guom turtle's descendants still exist. At this point, my family's trip has also come to an end.
Leaving Hanoi to return to Saigon with a feeling of regret.
There are still landscapes that we have not been reached yet.
There are still unexplored experiences with this city.
Hope to see Hanoi again in the near future. And the next journey of the Camping Time channel will be deep rainforest exploration and beautiful, majestic streams in Vietnam.
Hope you guys support our channel by subscribing, interacting, and sharing videos. This will give us more motivation to make new videos in the soonest time.
We truly appreciate your helps.
Thank you for watching our video. Goodbye.